From the day we're born, there's something hardwired into the psyche of little boys that makes us glance up at our dads, size up all 6 feet of them as our little eyes look towards the heavens and say, I can take them. And that's the moment the title is made in the household. What is the title? Man of the house? Strongest in the world? Who can say? But I knew it simply as the title, and I wanted it. No, I needed it. Now, one of two things happens. We crave this title until, 1, we realize we can't win the title and give it up willingly, or 2, we win the title. Well, I'm here today to proudly say that I'm one of the rare few who has held that title. At least temporarily. That's right, this is the story about how at 6 years old, I kicked my dad's ass. I was a shy kid. When I would go to school or other people's homes, I was a well-behaved angel who only spoke to adults when spoken to. But when I was at my home, I was a menace. A little monster with fangs. Kind of a little Hellraiser, and I think my sisters would agree. But on Saturdays, that was the day. On Saturday mornings, I had a habit of challenging the old man. I'd wake up, bypass the Cheerios, beeline to my parents' room, and I'd find my dad rotting in bed watching TV. I don't know what it was. It could have been the casual enjoyment on his face, or maybe the way he was relaxing at home and not at work breaking his back, or maybe it was just the thrill of the fight. But I'd start swinging. Of course, he always knew I was coming and prepared for battle like the pro heavyweight I assumed him to be. But we had done this dance a few times now, and I was smart and vicious. My go-to move? Attack the neck. I knew this man could overpower me with the brute strength of at least 10 6-year-old boys. His neck was where the strikes mattered. And if I hit him in the face, I'd get into trouble. So, the neck was the sweet spot. Unfortunately, I could never get there. Or, I should say, I could get there, but he'd grab my hands and hold them down, never allowing me to cause the real damage I craved. Then he'd toss me like a sack of potatoes to the other side of the bed. Oh, but I was determined. I'd stand tall in my little whitey-tighties, ready to jump. He'd smirk, give me a look, and ask,
Are you sure you want to do that?
I'd growl in my deep voice, which was supposed to be intimidating, and I'd say, yeah. Then he'd say some kind of insulting crap like, Okay, but don't go cry to your mama when you get hurt. It really deflated me, so I'd use it as fuel. I'd jump the old man, but he'd see it coming a mile away. This was the fatal flaw in my battle tactics. I never changed them. Every time I'd stand tall like that, he knew what was coming. I'd jump him, he'd catch me, grab my arms, and I'd try to kick and free myself. But then he would use his secret weapon, his knuckle. Specifically the knuckle on his pointer finger. And he'd press down on my arm. I'd scream, he'd let me go, and I'd be on the verge of tears. Then he would say the phrase my ears dreaded more than anything in these morning battles.
That'll learn ya.
That'll learn ya.
That'll learn ya.
And he'd be done. Unwilling to battle me any longer because I was already mad and about to cry. If I were to keep trying, he would escalate the situation to my mother and she would drag me out of the bedroom. So instead, I'd take the more noble route of storming out of the room crying. Defeated, like most Saturday mornings, I hung my head in shame. But this was no ordinary Saturday. For this Saturday, my dumb little brain farted an idea. I could get him when he wasn't looking. Yes, I know, in this story I'm breaking 2 of the golden rules among men when it comes to battle, the first one being don't sucker punch. But I was 6 years old and desperate. So, with this plan, I knew every morning my old man loved to start his day with a cold glass of milk. Yes, you'll need a glass of milk when I'm done with you, won't you, father? That was when I could catch him. That was when he was at his most vulnerable. So I ran to the kitchen and scouted for the right area of attack. Behind the counter? No. He'd see me before I could even get the jump on him. Maybe I could hide in the bathroom and no, that's the same issue. But then, I saw it. The spot that would take me to victory. Our fridge was parked next to a doorway that led into another room. If I could hide in that room while he grabbed milk from the fridge, I could jump out and strike before he even knew what hit him. So, I did just that. I ran into the room and waited. It felt like I was waiting for eternity to pass me by, but I knew the reward at the end of all this would be sweeter than candy. And boy, did I love candy. Finally, I heard rustling. I peered my head around the doorway and saw him. My dad, dragging his calloused feet across the tile floor, entered his domain with no shirt and his gut exposed for the family to see. He may have thought it a power play, but to me, he looked weak. I hid my face back into the shadows, but kept a watchful eye on the man. He walked over to the sink, grabbed a clean glass from the cabinet above, then he approached the fridge. My heart raced as the light from the fridge reflected off my gorgeous greens. I was a boy about to ascend into manhood. Today, I was gonna take the title. My dad poured himself a tall glass of milk, closed the fridge, and took a nice, long sip of liquid nourishment. "Hey, Dad!" I shouted, revealing myself to my sworn enemy. He turned, still suckling from Cal's teat. And it was then that I saw his eyes. He really wasn't aware that I was there. It truly was my chance to strike. Panicked, because honestly I didn't think I'd make it this far, I balled my fist and with all my little 6-year-old might rammed it right into my dad's manhood. And that was when I broke the second golden rule. Don't hit below the belt. Was the sound he made. The milk hit the floor first, but he followed soon after. With one mighty punch, I toppled my old man. Curled over on the ground, he didn't look at me. How could he when he surely felt so much shame? And as he lay there among the spilled milk sleeked across the tiled floor, reflecting on all the choices he made in life that led to this moment, I stood over him, triumphant. And I kid you not, I said the words, "That'll learn ya." And that's the story. For those of you wondering what the consequences of my actions were, I don't know. I can't remember anything after that. It's a little hazy from there. All joking aside, me and my dad have a great relationship, even when I did things like this to him. And just making sure everyone knows, my dad was not abusive in any way. We would play fight all the time, and usually because I would start them. If anything, I was like a rambunctious puppy that he would humor with a play fight. But what about you all? Got any fun stories with your dad or your family? Comment below and let's talk about it. Also, what do you think of these storytime videos? Honestly, it's been pretty easy content for me to post while I balance work with this channel, but if you like them, maybe I'll share some more. Oh, and finally, it's not lost on me that we crossed 2,000 subs this weekend. Thank you all so much for subscribing to this channel. It really does mean a lot to me, and I'm excited to keep sharing videos like this with you all. Anyway, that's it. Later.